Hi, morning guys. Teacher Nick with another video. Today we're going to be talking about blogs, and let's jump straight into it. Okay. So, what are blogs is the first kind of question. If I go to here. Okay, so here is a UAL University of London blog. Okay, let's see. We've got tips for exam preparation. Yes, you'll be doing exams when you finally get to uni. Time management. Now, that is perhaps something that we really need to think about when it comes to AS level. Time management is vitally, vitally important. It's something that you need to practice to be effective at AS level, especially in exams. So let's go and have a look at this. Okay. The 5 W's of time management. They say time is a paradigm, a construct in which one measures the length or duration of a moment whilst an object or event occupies a space. Okay, so we got this really nice, interesting kind of title, the 5 W's of time, kind of eye-catching, I'm sure, for anybody that wants to manage their time. And then they've done this quite very interesting kind of scientific-y type of explanation of what time management is, or what time is, saying time is a paradigm, which is quite fun. Okay, we got an image, okay, with lots of clocks on. You are the main characters. You must recognize at this point in time that you are on one half. You are responsible for your own development, no one else. Let's read that again. You must recognize at this point in time that on one half you are responsible. Oh, okay. Let's see. I remember the old adage, time flies, or time flies, remember death. I am not, however, here to talk about death or the end of all things, but the importance of time and its proper use in your academic development. Everything or every event depends on time, from sporting activities to business meetings, our birth to our first graduation ceremony or first kiss. Time gauges our successes and failures, also our life and its development in a society and the planet. So I'm looking at this, and the language seems to be very, very friendly, very kind of catchy, you know. And I mean, if you're a university student, you know, graduation ceremonies or first kisses, or perhaps someone thinking about going into business once they've completed things. And they've got this beautiful time flies, or time flies, remember death. And he says, so it's in that first person. I am not, however, here to talk about death or the end of all things. So that's actually quite, inspiring the way that they've done this. Okay, look, here we go. This is nice. So they've got some headings. So these are the 5 W's, the who's, the whys, the whats, the wheres, and the whens. And here we got this own personal kind of anecdote here with effectively applying the 5 W's of time management has helped my study process exponentially. If you choose to use it, I hope it will do the same for you. Okay, so this is Alvin doing his LLB. Distance learning in St. Lucia. Okay, fantastic. So kind of like, again, a homeschooling student. But we've got all sorts of links, the book of the face, the Instagranny, the tweeter. I don't know what this one is. I have a funny feeling that's a printer. And then that is an envelope. I don't know, you young people might never have seen them before. But it kind of represents a letter. In this case, probably an email. Then they've got all sorts of other links attached to their blog. Let's go have a look at another one. Cambridge. The Centre for Evaluation and Monitoring. So Cambridge CEM blog. Read the latest articles on education assessment written by teachers, school leaders, and assessment experts. Creating a culture of care. What do 4-year-olds know? Reassessing your school assessment model. What makes assessment effective? I think this one looks more interesting. A bit more of a catchy title. And I mean, the kids look fun and interesting. So let's have a quick squiz at this one. Let's see. So again, what do 4-year-olds know? So this one is a little bit more formal, it seems. Children start reception class in schools in England, are at the beginning of their full-time educational journey, but they are likely to start from very different places. Okay, so it's not too formal. It's actually quite, there's still a friendliness attached to it. Okay, because as teachers, you need like nice little pictures, but there's all sorts of links. And again, you know, because as teachers, it looks like they, oh, you see, lots of nice facts as well. Okay, our research and then the results. Let's see if they give some sort of a conclusion. Not really. Tell me more about BASE, obviously. Click on it, and then we got, what is this? LinkedIn. And Twitter. Teachers clearly don't know how to use the Book of the Face or Instagranny. Okay. Let's have a look at one last one. This one might appeal to some of you. This is a gamer's blog. So again, kind of a very, very different type of style. Okay. Obviously, it's this is Wolf's Gamer's blog. Wolf's Gaming blog. Okay. Links to a whole lot of different things. There's an advert. A WGB, home of awesome reviews. Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and virtual reality reviews. See, here we got some cutting through the bullshit of typical game journalism to deliver actual honest reviews. So that is how he is selling himself. And I think that's rather different to the kind of language that is being used at for University of London or say for the Cambridge website. Okay, so it's far more colloquial because of the audience that it's appealing to. Okay. Okay, and no, you cannot use the B word in your writing, please. Okay, Ravenous Devil's Review, the Demon Tailor of Fleet Street. 29th, so that was just quite recent. So this is his most recent blog. Ye olde London was not a nice place. Grime, dirt, and detritus, very nice, covered the streets. Smog hung in the air. Hygiene was more of a myth than a reality, and people disappeared on a fairly regular basis due to being press-ganged. Walking down the wrong alley, drunkenly stumbling into an ocean, or any number of delightfully degrading deaths. Living day to day was a hardship for the common people, and made all the harder by the absurd cost of meat. But humans are meat, right? Seems like a prime business opportunity. Q, the ravenous devils, Hildred and Percival, and their lives of butchery and business management. Gosh, that sounds like an 1820s version of GTA. Okay. But again, this would appeal very much kind of to a specific type of audience, okay, as would the game. I mean, if you see some of his headings, Kirby and the Forgotten Land Review, Kirby doesn't suck. Let's see. Probably every review of Tiny Tina's Borderlands is going to refer to this game being the Borderlands with a coat of Dungeons and Dragons paint. Okay, so again, you know, and words like noob, very colloquial, things that gamers would know. So he's definitely writing for his audience. Okay, so let's go over to our textbook. So, as we know, when it comes to analysis, okay, when it comes to analysis, we looked at Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. Now we have to take into account non-fiction texts as well. We've looked through, okay, the first types of personal writing, so your diaries and your journals, and now we're looking at blogs as part of that personal writing experience that we get when we kind of look at blogs. So I am using the Cambridge International AS textbook. You can order these online. Okay. If you don't have it, I find that it is, for me, the easiest textbook to navigate. So, blogs. So we've had a look at a couple of examples of blogs. Okay. So remember, we're talking about the key conventions of blogs. Okay, those key conventions of blogs. Because in your introduction, as one of those higher level things to discuss, you want to basically explain how the key conventions are clear to you when you're doing a bit of textual analysis. So these key conventions, in many ways, are kind of like the theories, you know, kind of like your times tables when it comes to English, okay, AS level. So you need to make sure that you are putting these up on your wall. You know, you can decorate it so that you're always basically having a look and revising. This is the things that you're going to be revising daily, okay? Because I'm going to be asking you, what are the key conventions of blogs? And you need to be able to know them. Okay. So, we use blogs to recount personal experiences. Okay. So, to recount those personal experiences or reflect on the feelings. Okay. Sometimes at the time or sometimes after the event. Okay, so personal writing, that is our focus, yes? So thinking about personal experiences or reflect on something that you're going through, and I don't know if any of you guys have blogs. You know, it's always a good idea to have a blog. Okay, so blogs, I mean, I suppose nowadays it's probably more vlogs, and we're all kind of watching video logs of things on YouTube. You know, I mean, I'm a big fan of, like, say, for example, Stone Mountain, and, you know, he does, all I do is pretty much watch him playing his games, and he kind of talks about what he's going through, and he plays with his friends, and he gives you all sorts of hints and tips. And sometimes we see his wife on the vlogs, and for me, he resonates with me. I don't play as much games as I wish I could sometimes, but he resonates with me because he has a good sense of humor. He keeps it clean. He doesn't like swearing. And those types of things I like. It's and he's funny. He is. When him and his team are playing together, they're really, really funny. Okay, so it is a more immediate form, in terms of, every other day there's a new vlog, and blogs probably kind of, I don't know, we saw some examples, but I think people are more prone now to just go onto YouTube, because you young people are also very lazy. Okay. So let's have a look at those key conventions. Accessed online through websites. Well, we saw that. Okay. There will be apps or well-known social media platforms. Okay, so you got the Instagranny and the Book of the Face. Okay. They have become a particularly popular way of sharing experiences. Okay, sharing experiences. Okay, I remember when blogs first started coming out, everybody was kind of setting up a blog, and it was kind of like the forerunner, I suppose, in a way, to kind of Facebook. People were writing about, this week I did this at school, or this week I did that at school. It was quite interesting, and it's like a diary, very much like a diary. Okay, but they're not printed. Okay, so obviously they are different to diaries in terms of they're not being handwritten. Okay, and are designed to be read by a specific audience. Okay, and remember that wonderful word that we have in English. Okay, normally. Okay, normally should always be added in front of these things, because English is always full of exceptions. Okay, and some of them might be restricted, so they might be very specific to friends or family, kind of like a Book of the Face, I suppose, perhaps personal contacts, or to the wider readership. And we saw the gaming blog. Okay, that is kind of more aimed at a wider readership, and we need the highlighter for this one. Okay, so it might be restricted. Okay, or it could be for a wider readership. Okay, so Barcelona fans who like the latest fashion. I don't know why anybody is going to follow Barcelona. Wonderful place to visit, though. Okay, but now I got a problem, because if these are key conventions, I suppose, with perhaps the exception of the audience, websites and apps or well-known social media platforms, I can't really put that into my exam. What am I going to do? Draw a little tweet and a Instagram. That's wasting time. So that would clearly not be something that you would think about. Neither would all the images. You're not expected to write or draw anything, rather. You're not expected to. You're expected to write. You're not expected to draw anything. So the drawings and that, and I have some of my students in that in the past have kind of like at the very bottom of their blogs kind of added click on this link, handwritten, click on this link to find out more, and put a HTTP find out more / teacher next student, or something silly like that. Is it necessary? No, it's not necessary. Okay, we were talking about time management a few minutes ago, and whether you're creating the text, And especially if you're kind of creating the text, those types of things are not going to be necessary. Pictures, websites, apps, all of that is not necessary. Okay. The next couple of things we might want to think about. So, what do they do? What do blogs do? Okay, and here they say, blogs are often vehicles for giving advice. Okay, let's go and see. When we were looking at this one. So here he was kind of giving us some advice. He was giving us reviews. Very important. Giving us reviews. Okay. This one was more giving advice on how to manage your time. And the Cambridge one, I think the Cambridge one was perhaps maybe informative, perhaps giving advice, but it looks like it's more of an idea to kind of get more teachers on board with the program. So I suppose there's going to be certain persuasive things that they might have done within the text. Okay, and the Cambridge website is always very, very good. I've never had problems with. There's so much information for students, parents, teachers. Always a good idea to navigate. Okay, so giving advice or selling or promoting ideas or products. They may use interactive features, for example, hyperlinks to related content. We saw that. Often feature audio or sound. Yep, that makes sense. We saw one or two of those. Specialized or technical lexis or jargon. Now, I can't do anything about the hyperlinks. I can't do anything about audio, and I certainly can't insert a video into my writing. But the specialized or technical lexis or jargon, we definitely saw some of that in the examples that I showed you. Okay. Now, this is a good time just to kind of get rid of that, to capture the reader's interest. And we've got to get away from capturing the reader's interest, because everything a writer does is to capture a reader's interest. Okay. Here's a nice way of putting it. Okay. So they might use specialized or technical lexis or jargon. So jargon, we saw that in the video game blog. Okay, we're using words like noob and various words in that are associated with gaming. Okay, so that would be more jargon. Okay, so specialized or technical lexis or jargon is definitely there because it's going to influence the audience. Okay, but it's also targeting perhaps an audience that has a core interest in video games, okay, in teaching, okay, or as a student at the University of London, or probably any other university. So rather use kind of why is it targeting that specific audience? Okay, what might their core interest be? Rather than saying the audience is people who like to read blogs, for example. You want to be a bit more specific on your audience. Okay. Blogs can be informal and chatty. We saw that. We saw basically where in the one text and that it's almost like he's addressing the audience directly. That let's go and have a look at that example. Here you must recognize. Okay, so it's definitely kind of directed at the audience very, very specifically. Okay. So here we've got a piece of text by an English writer, Alison Luke. Her blog is called alivenchairs.com, and is aimed at an audience of fellow creative writers. So I want you to kind of think about what's, as an English writer, okay, going into the blog, okay, thinking that it might be informal and chatty perhaps. What sorts of other things might you be expecting to see inside the blog? Okay, and we saw from these real world examples, okay, that we got some subheadings, we got that nice introduction, a good strong title, okay, even here, you know, good strong titles, okay, again, title and introduction about information, development of certain ideas, a little bit more formal, but obviously we're talking to teachers. So let's think about writers. What types of things, okay, do you think people wanting, and I know we have some fellow creative writers amongst us here. Okay, so let's see. 6 simple ways. Don't you always love it when they say 6 simple ways to improve your writing environment? And they never seem as simple when you first read them. Okay. Anyways, 6 simple ways to improve your writing environment, and they've done this with the brackets. So they're emphasizing this, probably aimed directly at her audience and get more done. Now remember, if you're a blogger, you're generally going to have followers, and you've got to make sure that you keep those followers in mind. You want them to feel a part of your text. Okay, let's go have a quick squiz. Oh, let me tidy this up. Let's tidy it up a little bit. You can see I've been coloring in. I was obviously feeling very greenish that day. Okay. Okay, and I think there's a little bit more over here. Okay. There we go. Okay. See, is that a link? Let's see. Can we get the... Oh, nope, not a link. Okay. So, let's just have a quick scan of what it looks like. Okay, lots of questions. Okay, looks like I don't know if this is a... Maybe it's a different type of blog. Maybe it's a second blog, a follow-up blog, perhaps, to it. Okay, some bullet points. That's always a good thing. Okay. Okay, that looks pretty straightforward. Okay, so good title. Maybe some subheadings, maybe even bullet points. And be careful about overdoing the bullet points in the exams, guys. Okay. Do you have lots of great writing intentions only to find your day filling up with all sorts of other things? When do you sit down to write? Sorry, when you do sit down to write, bit of emphasis there on the do, are you so easily distracted? Yes. So use of obviously some rhetorical questions, that anaphora at the end, where they kind of answered it and with a question as well. Okay, it's that connection with the audience which is so important. Hey, me too. So here, they're definitely trying to be more relatable to the audience. Okay, you know, I've happened the same. You know, same happens to me. So it goes from these questions, okay, to this now more personal perspective. Hey, me too, and I have. Okay, I've come to realize that this isn't a weakness in myself. It's more about the nature of writing. There's often a lot of resistance associated with getting started, and even once you do get going, it can be very hard to get into the flow. Okay. So there's that. So just a couple of things I want to touch on here. Obviously, these questions directly again at the audience. This very, very colloquial, hey, me too. Okay. Again, some nice use of punctuation. Okay. And this ellipsis here, guys, I think this ellipsis is mainly to show us that there might be something missing in the text. Okay. Okay, so for years, I used to imagine that I would somehow become able to effortlessly focus for hours at a time. And in fact, I can, but not when I'm at home. So this isn't a new thing. This is, okay, an extension with a nice subheading. Most writers work at home. It's a useful perk of the job, or a necessary part of the hobby. And I certainly wouldn't want to commute to an office every day like I once did. Me neither. However, home can be a very distracting place. I've got a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old, so our house often looks like someone did a mad sweep of a toy shop and scattered the contents liberally around every room. The rooms the kids don't go in, primarily the master bedroom and the study, are always right at the bottom of my priority list for tidying. There are always things to be done at home too. Laundry to put on, dishes to wash, bits of paper to file. Now that we have one child in school, we're generating even larger quantities of paperwork than before. Okay, so, you know, very colloquial, and she's definitely establishing this idea that she's just the same as anybody else, any of her followers perhaps. Okay, good use of language, words like liberally is quite nice. You know, and just a very nice, tidy, but again, she's using these parentheses. And I've noticed that with Cambridge, you know, there's a lot of discussion about, you know, the parentheses being used within a text. And there's got to be an effect for that. And I want you guys to think about that. Okay. Is it any wonder it's hard to focus on writing? If your home looks remotely similar, please don't beat yourself up for struggling to focus. Okay, emphasis on that focus with that use again of the punctuation. Instead, try to have occasional writing sessions away from home or away from your usual writing environment. My favorite places for this are, okay, local library, free, air-conditioned and full of books. What's not to like? And wow, obviously the question mark and an exclamation mark. One of our local independent coffee shops, Pride and Produce. Okay, and again that colloquial great cappuccinos. And obviously this Pride and Produce is a play on words from the novel Pride and Prejudice. Okay. Or a small good value local hotel. Brilliant for occasional overnight writing retreats. At home, 2 blog posts, say 2,000 words total, plus 500 or so words of my novel would be a great writing day. In my hotel room, I can knock off 7,000 plus words between 2 p.m. and bedtime. Okay, so obviously this is just an extract of a blog, but I want you to look at all the different things that the writer has used here. Okay, a lot of these parentheses, words, phrases like knock off. Okay. Okay, the bullet points we kind of discussed. Okay, the punctuation, a good variation of punctuation. Because remember, guys, when it comes to analysis, you're still going to have to be able to create these effects when you write your own blog. So you want to keep that these types of things in mind. Okay, so let's going to have a look at the assignment quickly. Okay. Any examples where she shares information about her personal life? Most definitely where she's talking about her children and the toys. Okay. Where she makes direct contact with the reader. Okay. She definitely does that. Okay. There's that wonderful phrase that she uses. Hey, me too. Okay, it's a nice effective way to say I recognize you. Okay, and then that final one, offers advice or guidance, and yes, she definitely does that. She uses those bullet points. Okay, and uses informal or chatty turns of phrase. Okay, so yeah, definitely we saw some of that. Okay, now we can see, remember, tone is created by the writer, mood is created by the writing. Okay, so the writer's tone is kind of like the writer's attitude. So poor old Captain Scott, the tone is very different. Oh, guys, everything is bad. Things are not going so well for us. We're all about to die. Poor old Welsh, kind of like the male version of Karen, complaining about everything, but very, very descriptive. Very descriptive. Okay. And then, obviously, the difference between that and the blog, okay, is that the blog is far more chatty and friendly and open and accommodating. And I think that's mainly because of the audience. I mean, if you're writing a blog, you're writing it because kind of like Instagranny or Book of the Face, you want people to follow. You want to share your thoughts and ideas with somebody. Now, I've always said blogs, vlogs can be very, very helpful. It's a wonderful way to perhaps share your learning journey. Maybe you want to start a YouTube channel on your journey through AS level English, and perhaps doing 5-minute videos for other students in the future that might be going on to study AS level, and just a place where you might just want to share ideas. Maybe create a Discord server and specifically aimed at your subject and share with the other students. I've always said in that I can teach you as the parent something, as the teacher something, okay? But a lot of your better learning is going to be sharing your thoughts and ideas with other students in the same place as you. So I heartily encourage that students share your assignments, share your analysis, share your ideas. Okay, this is definitely going to allow you to pick up on how other students are seeing different pieces of work. Okay, or perhaps you'd like to do it about your horse riding or your your chess club or skydiving or whatever fantastic thing that you might do. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to basically add that if you have any questions or ideas about blogs that you don't feel afraid to ask. Okay, so here's just another thing just to remember. So this is what I kind of keep. I've got a selection of these, for myself, if I was ever going to do a blog. Okay, so just keep in mind some of the things that we said. Okay, they're different from printed diaries and are generally designed to be read by a specific audience, perhaps, or maybe a wider audience. Okay, there might be vehicles for giving advice or selling and promoting ideas or products. They might use interactive features. They might have audio or sound or images. Okay, they might utilize technical lexis or jargon. Okay, depending on that audience. Okay, and blogs can be formal, but they can also be informal and chatty. And we saw that in those 3 examples. And I'd like to say thank you to University of London and Cambridge for being able to, and of course Wolf's Gaming for using their websites as examples here, including obviously our textbook, okay, the Cambridge textbook, which I do heartily recommend students use. Okay, so where am I? Here. Okay, so if you got any questions, guys, please feel free, pop them into that down below. I haven't gotten to a point where I'm, encouraging people to subscribe or people to like these videos. I'm still kind of getting myself organized. I'd like to be doing more of these videos. This one is specific for one of my classes. We will cover more of this in class, going over certain questions and things like that. But yep, that's it for today. So I will add the link, a list of the basic key conventions of blogs, if I can figure it out, in the email at the bottom. And thank you very much for watching.